Hey guys, it's Friday, July 17th, 2020, and today I'm going to talk about a subject that's, of course, been in the news the last couple months, but I'm going to go over some things that I think are very hypocritical and things as a white person that I have a hard time understanding because I just don't know when this is going to end, and I don't know why so much of our speech, our freedom of speech is being reprimanded by the SJWs, by the social justice warriors. But what prompted me to think about this was today I was listing something on eBay. It was a 1996 yearbook from Benedict College, which is a HBCU. And in the yearbook, there was a picture. I was just thumbing through it, and I ran across a drama team, and they were doing a skit, and they had one of the characters in a white face. And it jumped out at me because I was like, oh, whoa, a lot of people are getting busted for blackface. I said, I wonder what whiteface versus blackface is, kind of what's showing up on the internet. So I Googled it, of course, and read a couple of things. But I focused on the Wikipedia definition just because I was trying to draw some history from it and see when it was last edited and all that good stuff. Kind of find out it was last edited yesterday, and I don't know what was edited, but I do know that I want to read how they compare blackface to whiteface. And I'm just having a hard time understanding this because I know a lot of famous white guys have gotten condemned for having blackface back when it was actually satirical or part of the comedy skit or whatever. This is what it says. Blackface is racist based upon a traceable racial link to slavery and racial segregation. For this reason, blackface is all but extinct in modern art forms. In contrast, whiteface is occasionally employed in modern times, usually in comedic context. Those who defend it as art aim to differentiate it from blackface, often arguing that whiteface does not draw on a legacy of racism in the way that blackface does, and that the art is a wholesome satire of white lifestyles. So basically, it's saying that it's okay, by definition, for someone black to have white face as long as it's art, and that it's a wholesome satire of a white lifestyle. But you can't reverse that and say that as an art for someone that does blackface, that it's a satire of a black lifestyle. So what we're doing is creating some very hypocritical points here. Anybody, no matter what, cannot do blackface. But as long as it's art and that it's satire, it's okay if blacks do whiteface. I don't get it. And there's so many other things that have similar context. And as a white person, I can't do certain things, but a black person can. And I got a list of things here. For one, I was thinking about the Clemson coach who in practice actually repeated a line from someone that used the N-word. All he did was repeat the line. He didn't say the word directed at anybody, but he repeated the word. And he probably almost lost his job. He had to be reprimanded, I'm sure, and he was talked about in the news and blasphemed. Clemson was a racist program, I'm sure, at that point. But so he all he did was repeat the word, the N-word. But yet you got people that are black who say the word constantly in music, in language. I hear it all the time, online. And they don't care. They'll put it out there. They call each other that. They may call other people that. I don't know. But they use it like it's a term, like I say, hey, man. Instead they use hey, in. And I don't get it. There's too much hypocriticalness going on there. Another one is, of course, the BLM versus the ALM versus the WLM. Black Lives Matter can go print something out on a road, a huge painting, mural, not get a permit and go put it on a road. But if you put anything about police lives matter, or all lives matter, or white lives matter, I understand it means just as much, but if you just encompass everything, say all lives matter, we can just bring in everybody to that mix and make it a lot easier. We can't say white lives matter, or we're even though they do, and a lot of white lives are ridiculed. You've got homeless, you've got redneck, trailer trash. People are frowned upon even as white people. There are different socioeconomic levels that are not frowned upon, but I don't know. It aggravates me that we even have the word Black Lives Matter. It's just too confusing. Just name it something else, please. Obviously, you've got conservatives that are black. Ben Carson's and Candace Owens and Officer Tatum's. There's hundreds, thousands of them. But they automatically get labeled as an Uncle Tom or a coon by their fellow blacks because they're not in with the normal belief in the black system, or what 80% of them believe. There's that 10 or 20% who actually, formulate their own thoughts. They don't depend on the government to give them thoughts. And of course, this is a big one for me right now, is the Antifa thing. They're just letting Antifa slide in the back door behind the BLM movement and everything else. And Antifa is nothing but a KKK group, just on the other side, or say other side. KKK is technically on the other side, but you know what I'm saying? They put it on the conservative side, which it's not, but they always say that we back KKK. Well, let's say we do. Let's say the conservatives do. Antifa and KKK are equal, parallel, just on a little bit slightly opposite sides, but they're just as extreme. But don't talk bad about Antifa. And you got things like the reparations, which has been in the news a lot for blacks that were, well, just blacks in general. But yet you had white slaves, you had Irish slaves, you had European slaves, you had slaves of all races, Indian slaves. And why aren't they entitled to reparations? A bit hypocritical, if you ask me. I think maybe everyone should get reparations, because we all probably have descendants that maybe were in some kind of slavery sometime. Prove it or prove me wrong. And one other thing I wrote down is kind of minor, but the Bubba Wallace thing, the Jussie Smollett thing, where the hoax that the news, like with Bubba, if that was a white person that screamed something racist, and then it was found out that he lied and made up the story, I promise you that dude would be either kicked out of the sport or reprimanded or prosecuted or something for a fake hate crime. But yet Bubba Wallace is now like this huge symbol in NASCAR, which he won't be around there for long, but NASCAR ain't gonna be around there for long. But it's just dumb how hypocritical and confusing it is for me as a white person. And I know this is not something many folks like to talk about, but when does it stop? And if I'm around somebody and they feel uncomfortable with what I'm saying, let's talk about it. Because my vernacular may be different. I may mean something totally different. You may grown up different than I did, and I've been around multiple hundreds of black people, and I've never ever once been accused of saying something out of the way. And I'm likewise, I knew what they meant when they said certain things. If they said the N-word or whatever, I didn't hold it against them necessarily, even though maybe it's not the perfect thing to say, but I knew what they meant. Anyway, this may not be what you're looking for today, but that blackface and whiteface thing really got me today, because I was like, history's getting rewritten. Wikipedia, encyclopedias are getting rewritten, definitions are getting changed constantly, and we don't know about it. But they're just the SJWs are just on the attack. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow.